say it's not going to happen. We can't say that it is. So, you know, let's all just wait and see.
The tension between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez for a potential bout is rising. As of recently, both fighters have had something to say. Crawford stated that the fight isn't exactly off the table, but right now, things aren't as solid either. In other words, not much can be said about it taking place right now, so it's best to wait and see what happens.
Lots of things going around at the moment, including a big clash with Canelo Alvarez. Can you tell us what's going on in that situation, and can that happen next?
We shall see, you know. Who knows?
Crawford, being the champion of the 154-pound weight division, shared that there are plenty of good fighters to aim for at this weight. Right now, he's sort of scouting and looking at the potentials, but not really settling on one. He's feeling optimistic. The sport seems to be going in the right direction in his opinion.
What's out there that interests you at 154 pounds?
There's a lot of fights out there at 154, you know, that's interesting me. That interests me. You know, like I said, the future is bright. The sport is going in the right direction. So we shall see where Terence Crawford leads.
Crawford is looking to make the best possible decisions regarding his career in terms of potential fighters and potential places to fight in. He gave a remark about fighting in Saudi Arabia under the Riyadh season next to say that he will go for whatever is good for him.
Season show. Is it likely that your next fight will be in Saudi Arabia?
Who knows? You know, like I said, you know, we got to weigh our options and see what makes sense for Terence Crawford in his career.
Crawford feels that if the fight does take place with Alvarez, it would be a bout where his performance leaves everyone's mouth dropping. His record of 41 fights with no losses and 31 wins coming with knockouts is impressive, making him an undisputed champion. So there's not much that he can say, but his performance would say it all.
And if Canelo Alvarez does make sense and you step into the ring with him, obviously that's a super fight for boxing. How does that go down? Just break it down for us a little bit. We want to see it obviously happen.
I ain't gonna break it down to you. You know what I mean? Strategy is leaving with my hand, you know, rolls and everybody mouth dropping. That's how I can, you know, sums it up in a little bit of your answer right there.
With both Terence and Canelo being one of the best in the sport of boxing today, a fight between the two would be a big one. Crawford would have to move up to 168, but it would speak volumes for his legacy.
Up 60, how much does it say about your legacy that, you know, you still sort of, after everything you've done, you're still pushing for the next big challenge?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm chasing Canelo. You know, I think that's a broad statement. I just want the opportunity, you know, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. You know, he's the...
Speaking of which, Crawford wants to fight the best fighters in the sport to showcase a powerful legacy. He explained the reason why he wants to go for Alvarez. It's not coming from a place of rivalry or negativity. In fact, it's quite the opposite. He views Alvarez as a great fighter, one of the best currently, and would want to fight with someone as great as him.
Most accomplished fighter in today's sports of boxing, other than myself. And I would just, you know, just like to, you know, fight another great. That's it. That's all. You know, if the fight, you know, happens, I think it'll be the biggest fight in the sport of boxing today.
Terence, one thing as well.
And that seems like that you do want this fight now.
Well, I've been wanting to fight. You know, I feel as if that's a legacy fight. I feel as if, you know, this is the biggest fight in boxing today. I feel like this fight right here is like the last of the Mohicans. You know, we both coming in an era where Floyd Mayweather was #1 pound for pound, Showtime, and HBO era, that type of era. So I think this fight will be...
Canelo gave a similar response to Crawford that the fight can happen, but the talks for it will start around January. Right now, he's focusing on himself and his family and taking things slow, but when the talks start, he'll be ready for whatever happens.
And social media news floating around saying that you could potentially be negotiating with Terence Crawford directly for a main fight. Any truth to that?
No, now I'm working in other things. Now I'm enjoying my family. I'm not talking about boxing yet. So maybe in January we gonna start doing that.
If this fight does take place, it would be one of the best in the current boxing era. Both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez are in the top 5 of the pound-for-pound boxers of the current time. A bout between them would be big for boxing right now. Terence agrees, as he said that this would be a great fight. The only thing is that Canelo is bigger than him, but that's a challenge that Terence wants and can work towards.
Your prime right now, you guys are both 2 of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in boxing. This is the biggest fight in boxing right now.
Definitely, and that's what I've been saying. You know, you got two guys, top 3 pound for pound, going head to head with each other, and I understand, you know, Canelo is bigger than me and whatnot, but I'm up for the challenge.
Terence shared what would be his biggest challenge if he does fight Canelo. He shared that Canelo's punching power and physical size are the only 2 things that would concern him. But who knows what will happen, since Terence is used to fighting bigger guys in the ring, and having fought 41 bouts, he's come across fighters that can hit hard. So both of these challenges can be dealt with.
Challenges does Canelo pose once you guys get in there?
I don't know. I just think, you know, his punching power and his physical size is the only thing that I really have to worry about. But who knows? Once we get in the ring, we don't know how I'll handle his punching power, his size. I've been fighting bigger guys my whole life, so I'm pretty familiar with that aspect of the game.
His Excellency, Turki Al-Sheikh, was not as interested in this fight initially. He was struggling to make progress with Canelo's team, and the communication wasn't really taking place, but it looks like the first step in making this fight happen can take place soon. Terence just has a minor health concern, but when he's back in action, the fight can happen somewhere around May. Turki said, Crawford has a small health issue but prefers to fight with us after May. If Canelo is hearing me, we are ready to discuss the fight, since this fight might take place under Turki Al-Sheikh, who has shown interest in the fight. To this, Canelo said that he's open to communication for business if it comes down to it, and never really said no.
Stand with Turki. Turki said he would like to open a line of communication with you. No middlemen, just you and him.
I never say no to business. So if it is a business for me, I'm open to talk. No matter.
Terence Crawford shared the reason why Turki is interested in this fight now as compared to before. While he can't read the Saudi chief's mind, but shared that they both have something to give in the fight. They're both the same height, but one is bigger while the other is faster. One has a faster reach, but the other is stronger.
His Excellency didn't seem as into this in the past, and now last night seems very on board making this happen. What changed on his end?
I don't know. You have to ask him. You know, I think it's, you know, a very intriguing fight. You know, Canelo and me is the same height. I got longer reach than Canelo. I'm faster than Canelo. But Canelo is bigger than me. He's stronger than me. So we both giving away something, but we both gaining something at the same time.
Turki has explicitly said that the offer has been sent to Canelo, and that if he's smart, he will take it up to fight Terence Crawford. Since Turki is a big man, if Canelo doesn't accept, he will move on to other fighters.
Are we going to see Terence Crawford versus Canelo?
As I tell before to the ESPN, I give him the offer. If he's smart, he will accept it.
So just so we're clear, so everyone understands, you've already sent an offer to Canelo to fight Terence Crawford if Terence Crawford wins tonight.
But if he doesn't, I want Ortiz.
Since Terence would have to climb up a weight class to fight Canelo, that does raise some concerns on his part. Sean Porter is worried about Crawford taking the punches that Alvarez throws in the ring, being the bigger and stronger guy over a course of 12 rounds. But the disadvantage of that is that Canelo would slow down in the later rounds. To deal with that, he would have to weaken Crawford in the first few rounds.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But
Porter feels like there's a lot that needs to be talked about when it comes down to the both of them. Both of them have pros and cons that need to be discussed to truly understand what their dynamic would be in the ring.
You know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So
the weight division was the main issue for Canelo previously when he was addressing this fight. It's been in the air for quite some time now, but nothing really happened up till now. Canelo did not feel like he needed to take this fight because then people would say that Crawford is too small. But if the fight does happen, Canelo wants to fight at 168 because he can't drop the weight.
I can't go down anymore. But you know, like he say, you know, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because then everybody's gonna say it's too small, it's too small, it's too small, and then, you know, he need to enjoy his fight. Okay. He deserves 168. But like I say, like he say, nobody's gonna give me credit for that.
Thank you very much. This opinion was confirmed by Eddie Hearn, who shared that the reason why Canelo is so uninterested in this fight with Terence Crawford is because he won't get any credit for winning against a fighter who's about 20 pounds smaller than him.
Canelo's behalf, because I don't represent him, I don't think he's overly interested in the Terence Crawford fight, because I think he'll be thinking, I'm not going to get any credit for beating Terence Crawford. He's a 147 pounder who's just moved to 154. You're asking him to move up to 168 and fight a guy that's going to massively outsize him. And also, at this stage in Canelo Alvarez's career, stylistically, I'm not sure he wants to fight a mover that he's going to be chasing around the ring, and I think...
But at the end of the day, if the money is right and the weight issue is resolved, this fight will probably take place. That is also if Turkey offers Canelo $150 million, as he said. Hearn also commented that even if this is not Canelo's favorite fight, the money talks, and it's okay for him to go after the money after the successful career he's had so far.
But money talks. I mean, you know, the one thing you know about Saul is he is all about the money. And what I love about him is he don't try and hide it. Do you know what I mean? He's achieved everything. He's got the belts. He's got the legacy. There's nothing else to do other than be in fights that motivate him and be in fights that make him money.
Canelo, Johnny Boy Boxing, Fight Hype. I just want to ask you, what do you think about Terence Crawford? What do we think about Terence Crawford's performance, and do you want to get a fight with him?
If the money is right, I mean...
$100 million? I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
150.
150?
After Crawford's last performance, Eddie Hearn shared that jumping up weight classes and fighting against a big guy like Canelo would be tough. Crawford already struggled against Israel Madrimov even though he won, but it wasn't his best performance, so it's tough for Hearn to imagine Crawford fighting Canelo.
I think Terence that's a question for Terence. For me, 168 is a huge jump. You know, you're talking about someone the size of Canelo Alvarez, but you know, we have to remember that Terence was the challenger going in there tonight. And I know some of you guys don't like the narrative of, you know, it's not about champion and challenger, but it didn't feel like, you know, many will say a pound for pound #1 performance, but you have to give credit to Israel Madrimov because his movement was outstanding and Terence really struggled to come to terms.
The fight with Canelo only became a real possibility for Crawford when he moved up a weight class and defeated Israel Madrimov, who was previously undefeated. This fight made Crawford the consensus best pound-for-pound boxer in the world, as per The Guardian, especially because he won the WBA world title. But Teddy Atlas thinks people need to let Crawford breathe before pushing up another weight class to fight Canelo, because he's not ready for that yet.
How does he do against Canelo, Teddy?
Give him a chance to get his feet wet in this weight class. And be there for a minute before we talk about another jump. Not yet, I don't think so, but that's up to them.
But Atlas does have a ton of faith in Crawford. In his opinion, the undefeated fighter can take on any fighter and go with the mindset of a winner.
He's got this. I know he's got this. I know he's got the character, and I know he's got the mind. I know he has special gifts that very few fighters have. The only two I know that have it right now is him and Inoue. Although Tyson Fury and Usyk are in the mix. You know, they're pretty special, those guys. They know how to win. And they find ways to win. You're on the floor like you got hit with a shotgun, like Fury was with the first water, and you get up. You find a way to get up from that. You're special.
He has the skills and abilities to be composed in the ring and take the fight with grace and strength, which is why he's currently a 4-division champion and a 2-division undisputed champion. Atlas thinks this is because he can slow things down in the ring, assess the fighter, and move with accurate timing.
He's got those things. Crawford has the ability to slow things down in the ring that very few people have, and to see things that nobody else can see because he slows it down, where other people don't see it. And that's what makes his timing so special. Yeah, he's got great power. He carried it up. Yeah, he's got good hand speed. Yeah, he's got all that. He's got good technique. His coaches do a tremendous job with him. But the timing is impeccable. It's better than anyone else's. Why? Because of this. Because he's able, his vision in the ring, his eyes, but he's able to slow things down for himself.
On the other hand, Showbiz the Adult doesn't see a world in which Terence can move up from 147 pounds to take on Canelo Alvarez at his weight and size. He heard the punches Alvarez throws in fights, and he can't see how a smaller fighter can take those and survive.
Spaceman Films. What up, Biz? Who you got? Canelo Crawford.
Yeah, got Canelo. I heard the punches that he hit Charlo with. I don't know if Crawford can absorb those punches. I know he's a great man and a great warrior. But you come from 147 to put on a better fight than Charlo. I mean, I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that means that Crawford is so great and he can do that, or that means that Charlo set the bar so damn low that anybody could do better than Charlo did last night.
Do skill really pay the bill? Because that would be tested.
Pay the bill. That's why Canelo's good for him.
Andre Ward is on the other end of the spectrum. Ward acknowledges the big weight jump, but he hasn't seen a fighter so far that can break Crawford's spirit. It would be dangerous, but a fighter like Crawford figures out every fighter and wins, so Canelo would have to prove something big in the ring against him. Ward respects Canelo, but won't bet against Crawford.
I'm going with Terence Crawford, you know. Big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat him.
Dimitri Bivol shared that he and Terence Crawford had a discussion about the fight with Canelo. Bivol said that Crawford wants this fight, so he'll make this work.
A lot of buzz in boxing that he might fight Canelo. You fought Canelo. Would you tell him to take the fight or not take the fight?
We were talking about him, of course.
What did he say? What did he ask you?
He wants to fight him, of course. I asked him, the first question, to be honest, was how was the fight? He said, I want, but I cannot see from that side. You know?
But 30-pound difference, and he's already...
Even though Crawford is older, he's one of Bivol's favorite fighters. Bivol himself is an undefeated and undisputed champion, so Crawford being his favorite fighter is high praise. He thinks Crawford has the ring IQ to defeat Canelo.
38.
Who?
Crawford. Canelo's 34, I think.
Yeah, but Crawford, he's a fighter with one of my favorite fighters, to be honest. I told it before and I'm telling it now. He's very smart. He knows how to use his skills, even that he's older than before. But he has a good chance, to be honest.
Oh.
And with his style.
Bivol thinks that Terence already knows how to win against Canelo, and his coaches are aware. But if Crawford asks for his help, he will share his experience in the ring with Canelo.
Advice would you give him on how to beat Canelo if they were to fight?
I will not advise him because he knows already what to do. You know, why I should advise him? If he asks me, maybe I will tell my experience, but I will not take advice because he could give advice by himself and his coach.
There's another big
Alexis Rocha has sparred with both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Even though he was just 17 when he sparred with Canelo, he said that his punching powers were painful even though Canelo wasn't even trying.
So Canelo took it easy on me because I was 17. He knew that I was still in high school. I got the day off high school, so when they told him that, there was times when he went very hard. I felt those shots.
And he wasn't even trying.
He wasn't even trying. He was also very heavy at the time at the camp.
He's a great dude, by the way. Canelo's the best.
Oh, super humble guy, you know. I was very fortunate to be with him, to help him a little bit for the Kirkland fight. But I wouldn't say me and Canelo went toe-to-toe.
Rocha feels that Crawford has the boxing IQ that is incredibly important and the reach that makes him strong, so he will hold up pretty well in the fight. However, he favors Canelo to win, since Canelo has the experience of fighting big guys, and his punches are incredibly hard to take for a fighter who has never fought in the weight class and taken on big guys.
That's my opinion.
I mean, Terence Crawford, yes, there is weight classes for a reason. Canelo is a lot bigger. Crawford has that, he also has a good size to him where he has that good size and he has that reach and he has that boxing IQ. That's the most important thing when it comes to a boxing game, is the IQ. You know, I think Crawford will hold his own very good in that fight. But I will lean a little bit more towards Canelo given the fact that he's more experienced and he's been in there with bigger guys.
30 pounds.
When Crawford fought Madrimov, he weighed 168 pounds on fight night and won. That's the weight that Canelo asked him to reach if he wants to fight him, but after rehydration, Canelo would weigh close to 180. Rocha discussed this 30-pound weight jump.
Difference.
Is it 30-pound difference?
Something like that. Canelo
a 20-pound difference.
No, on fight night.
Fight night, yeah.
Canelo's going to be like 180 something.
He'll be 180
and Crawford's is going to be what? 150, 160?
175. Yeah.
And also the power. A guy that big and Canelo's very smart, very so. Best feints in boxing.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it looks like one-sided, like a payday. But you know both of them, and
so you got Canelo in that fight?
Oh, easy.
Easy.
One hand, one leg, one eye.
Oh shit, dang.
I mean,
Jim Lampley doesn't believe that Crawford can jump up those weight divisions and beat Canelo as he did with welterweights. Handling those powerful punches from Alvarez would be a huge problem for Crawford, as those shots can be lethal against big guys, so he can't imagine what damage they do against a smaller guy who has never felt those big hits. Lampley said, "I might have thought a few months ago that I would give Crawford a logical chance to win the fight. He is the most skilled pound-for-pound fighter in the world, but I just don't think he's big enough and strong enough to take on Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds. But Bernard Hopkins feels as though this fight serves no purpose for Canelo, even if he wins. Hopkins thinks there are better fights for him to go for until Crawford reaches that point.
Well, you know, the casual fan, they don't care about weight classes. They just know the names, Crawford, Canelo. They want to see it.
Crawford cares about his life. And with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo, fighting Crawford, and Crawford beats Canelo? What do that do for Canelo? I just think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic. It makes sense.
Edgar Berlanga shared that the weight difference would be the only issue that Crawford would have to face in the ring. He has confidence in Crawford's ability and skills, making him a fighter that has a good chance against Canelo.
My good friend, my brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that his.
Meanwhile, Mauricio Sulaiman feels that Alvarez would have the upper hand going into this bout, but it is the fight that everyone wants to see and would have all the hype. But the weight classes mean that this fight might not happen. Sulaiman said, "It's a fight that has been talked about. Canelo is the face of the boxing world and Crawford a great champion. Canelo has been criticized for moving up in weight or fighting lower division boxers. It's a fight that Sheikh Turki Al-Sheikh wants to see and is trying to promote. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does, Canelo has the advantage over Crawford." So who do you think will win this bout? Do you see this fight happening soon? Let us know in the comment section below and subscribe for more content.